You opened the floodgates. You brought in the language. Mr. Pandirajan is now responding to you. Mr. Pandirajan.
Hindi versus any language.
Mr. Pandirajan is responding, sir. Go ahead.
Sure, listen, I think there's no way an elected central government can discriminate against some section of its own people. Today, as you said, over 50% of this country do not have Hindi as the mother tongue. And like, there's no reason why, some parts of the country, students should have a competitive advantage. I mean, here, tests should be fair, transparent. What you're throwing out is not only English, it's also a whole lot of aptitude aspects, verbal reasoning, for instance, logical reasoning. All this is being thrown out. And I think it's a very, very casual manner, extempo response of that kind, without realizing what all implications will happen here. I also don't want to see it as one isolated incident. You also have the Sanskrit week happening in CBSE. There are at least 4 instances where Hindi and its primacy is being sought to be restored. I mean, little realizing Jawaharlal Nehru made a commitment that as long as the non-Hindi speaking states wanted, English will remain the linked language. Any attempt to weaken English as a linked language, I think, will weaken the very fabric of integrated India, in my view.
Mr. Trivedi,
there's no reason, and I think government should take extra caution not to rub into the emotional base of this country. I think everybody, there are at least 15 languages which are held as mother tongues very deeply. And I don't think that any elected government should take this issue at this point in time. And just responding like that in the floor of the parliament like that, saying that, yeah, we won't value the marks in English kind of a thing. It's not.
Why did you do that, Mr. Trivedi?
It's a host of critical attitudes.
Why did you? No, Gaurav, please.
Sudhanshuji, I have a question for you.
So, Ritabrata, go ahead.
Today in the parliament, when the minister was speaking, we were present there, we heard a new term. He said that by leaving away this English thing, we have become language neutral. We are unable to understand what is this language neutral thing. I must admit, as just now, the MLA from DMK, Honorable MLA, has said that English is a linked language. We are not against English, we are not against Hindi. But suddenly, in the floor of the House, your minister of the government, comes out with a phrase that language neutral. We are unable to understand what you mean by language neutral.
What is language neutral, sir?
Arnab,
Yeah.
No, Sudhanshu Trivedi, what is language neutral?
Language neutral means the entire question paper should be based on objectivity, subjectivity, imagination, competence, comprehension, not related to language. This was the meaning of the language neutral.
No, so
What is the problem in that?
How is removing?
Selection, we are
Then
trying
will
to have
the
best.
question
how is removing
all languages, all mother tongues?
No,
speak in different parts of
no,
the
then
country.
one second, simple question to ask the BJP representative is
Language
this.
should not be a hurdle.
Sudhanshu Trivedi, I asked.
Mr. Trivedi, I have a simple question. Then will the questions of the UPSC examination will be in all regional languages? Languages, particularly, see, I come from that part. It is not a question of Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Bengali. It's a question of mother tongue. Mother tongue is a very important thing. To me, English is a foreign language and Hindi is not also my language. My language that arises from my heart is Bengali. I am a Bengali speaking person.
Right.
I speak English, I speak Hindi, I speak Urdu. But I am not comfortable with these languages.
So
Even with the DMK person, I can tell him Manakkam. But that does not mean that I am comfortable with Tamil. I may understand a bit Tamil.
So will you have the UPSC exam in Bengali, Assamese, Nagamese, Tamil, Malayalam, Kannada? 1 second, I think the BJP representative needs to answer tonight. How many languages are you ready to have the exam in, sir, Mr. Trivedi?
No, and
That's
Arnab,
why we are
ultimately,
saying that the aptitude test, the minister was talking about the aptitude test. Aptitude tests all over the world most of the aptitude tests are language neutral. And I would like to ask our friend from CPIM, during his regime in West Bengal, English started in their Bengali schools from which standard? From 6th standard. And now they are giving sermon in favor of English here. What the government has done the 30 years in West Bengal.
No, see. What happened during the left front rule? It's a question of access to quality education. In our state, when we came to power in 1977,
that's why
majority of the people from the rural background, first generation learner, for some time, yes, English was not there. Then after that, English started from class 1.
And here you are giving so many sermons.
No. You are not telling the correct thing. The correct thing is that from 77 we have removed English. English was taught in 6th standard, but after these people came in, generations came in, first generation learner, huge were there in 77.
Concept
then
of language neutral.
Reinstated in
No, this is a new concept that the BJP has introduced. The concept is language neutral. Now, what if somebody says, no, Gaurav Bhatia, let me put a counter question. What if somebody says that for a person from Punjab, being language neutral does not mean removing 8 questions of English? It means having a paper and a viva and an interview in Punjabi. You better be prepared for that too.
Objection. It was not.
No, why not?
Just English.
No, why not?
It was no any.
Why
language.
not? Why
No
not
language.
give that option? Are they not recognized languages?
That things are not being put in a proper perspective.
Sir, you don't have the perspective.
Remove English. Remove any language.
Sir, okay. Sir, one second. Simple question. I want Gaurav Bhatia. Since Gaurav Bhatia and Sudhanshu Trivedi are the two people who are vociferously supporting the removal of English, I just want to ask them, why are they being so unfair on other people?
It was not removal of English, it is removal of any language in aptitude.
So I am asking you. So I am asking both of you. I am asking both of you a simple question. I hope you have the courage to answer. And my question is simply this.
Yes, Arnab. I will
No. How can you answer a question I have not asked? My question is this, sir. Gaurav
Because
Bhatia.
you did ask a question even before.
No, I am asking the question a second time with clarity, so that you don't answer your question, but you answer mine. My question to you, sir. Customs officers should not have any English. NDA exam should not have any English. CISF assistant commandant exam should not have any English. State Bank of India, any bank probationer exam should not have any English. I want you and the BJP representative right here, right now on NewsHour to say that you support the removal of English from all these exams. Say so. Unless you are going to be hypocritical and say, no, हमारा political point हो गया.
Yeah, now I
हम लोगों पे जाके कह सकते हैं कि IAS officer बनने के लिए, to be an IAS officer, you don't have to know English. But why do you need to know English to be a customs officer?
Arnab,
Answer that question.
Medical entrance exam, engineering entrance exam.
We are not saying that we are for the removal of English from all types
One of you.
We are just made a point.
Arnab. Yeah, Arnab.
Yes,
When
Gaurav.
you say that only 300 protesters were protesting, I think you are demeaning and you are insulting those who were protesting all over the country for this issue. So please don't trivialize it.
No, I am not trivializing.
300 protesters.
10 times I ask you the question, 10 times you won't reply.
You said.
I want to know. You see, this is a serious matter.
Answer to your question is.
This is a serious matter. You're playing with the lives and careers of students.
Attentively. You are playing with lives of many millions.
Sir, you are
proficient in Hindi and not in English.
So what is this Hindi thing now?
What we are trying to say.
What about students proficient in Tamil?
The purpose of the UPSC.
What about students proficient in Kannada?
Gaurav, we are not against Hindi, but what about the other languages in our country?
You might
Hindi is not our mother tongue.
Yes.
I must have the right to write the examination in my own mother tongue.
No, please, I will complete myself. Maybe you are in agreement with me. Just give me an opportunity. All I'm trying to say is the purpose of having UPSC exam is that you tap the best talent of the country. And it is not necessary that you will get this best talent from the persons who are proficient in English. It could be a person who speaks fluent Bengali and he has the aptitude to govern the country. He could be a person who speaks Malayalam. He could be a
So
person
he must have
Hindi.
the right to have the question paper in his mother tongue.
You cannot.
It is not a question of Bengali, it's a question of all languages, registered languages, the languages, the country. We have the languages, different languages throughout the country.
If you hear me out,
Ajay Kumar countering.
Contrary view.
I am hearing you out.
And you cannot keep out those people who speak in Hindi just because you make an exam
Gaurav!
which is skewed towards person.
No, I'm
Gaurav,
not at all keeping out. I am
Gaurav,
telling you have English, you have Hindi, but also you have all the Indian languages. You
Gaurav,
must have the same
simple,
dignity, same importance for all the Indian languages. the mother tongue of different people in different parts of the country.
My second point
No,
is
one sec, Gaurav, I'm
that
getting
you do
many
not
views,
even
please.
Provide the basic.
Gaurav, 1 minute. Gaurav, 1 minute. Let
I'm
me get
saying
many
the
views in
second
Mr.
point that I wish to
Mr.
make.
Pandirajan. No,
That's
Mr.
my second
Pandirajan.
point.
Mr. Pandirajan, I'd like to go to Mr. Pandirajan,
Yeah.
Amitabh Mukhopadhyay, Ravi
See,
Srivastav.
this-
1 second. Yes, Mr. Pandirajan. I'm not getting a clear answer from the guest on whether English will be removed from all
Hey,
tests.
listen, this is
Yes,
like, you know, I think this language neutrality is what in BJP would call as pseudo neutrality, in the sense you can't really design a test. As someone who has lived 20 years of my life designing tests, psychometric tests and all that, listen, any HR person will tell you language neutrality cannot happen in a manner that he's saying. The minister says, Mr. Trivedi says, we'll have subjective and objective tests. It's oxymoronic in the sense it's nothing but pseudo neutrality which can get arrived when you do a language neutral test per se. I think it's absolutely to keep out English. It seems to be the attempt to design tests which are language neutral.
In 1 minute
on these critical attributes will take years to build.
In 1 minute
need to have cultural sensitivity and all
No,
this
no,
stuff.
we
All that
no,
I'm
no,
saying
no,
is, I would see it as an integrated
in 1
thing
minute
and
I'm
effort
opening up
at
to phone lines.
bringing back Hindi to the center
In
stage.
1 minute, ladies
there
and
is really
gentlemen,
no reason, you know, why
in
you need
1
to do
minute,
that.
ladies and gentlemen,
how will you know,
I-
not discriminate
I am
against
only
people
asking-
from other parts of the country.
Yeah, Mr.
And I think at least
Pandirajan.
15 languages need to be, you know, brought into
No, no,
the
Mr.
center stage
Pandirajan, there are
for you
only
to
two
decide
very
tests.
simple-
And how will you have all India tests running
No,
with
no,
15 languages happening? I think it's,
Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, there is a world outside Uttar
unnecessary
Pradesh.
the honestness
Mr. Bhatia,
and,
Mr. Bhatia, there is a world outside Uttar Pradesh also.
Neutrality, which will get.
There is a world outside Uttar Pradesh.
There's no way you can design language neutral
There is a Hindi belt, then there are
aptitude
persons
tests
who have
of the
other
kind that is being
languages as
spoken
mother
about.
tongue.
And
I'm
how do you
speaking
blend
for all of them.
objectivity and
I'm only
subjectivity?
saying don't make
I really
the exam
don't
so skewed
think
that
this is
only
thought
persons
through.
who are
I think
proficient
it's
in
a
English
seat to
are
the
able
pant
to pass it.
response
That's the
to
point
some
I'm making.
emergent reality.
Gentlemen, a
And in my
minute.
view,
Gentlemen, a
it's
minute.
completely
I am opening up lines. Just a minute, please, Mr. Pandirajan. I think I've lost the line there with you. I'm opening up the lines to only ask two questions. 1 minute. Let me reiterate 2 points. I reiterate tonight, and I reiterate with all honesty, that okay, let the government say we've removed the English question. I have two simple questions, Mr. Ravi Srivastav and Mr. Amitabh Mukhopadhyay, who both been bureaucrats, will understand where I'm coming from. I am first saying, if you've removed English from IAS exam, will you remove it from all exams, including all the defense, inspector, police, state level, bank, probationary officer, then remove it from all exams? I don't think you can have a country in which you can have one rule for the IAS exam and one rule for all other government exams. Point number 2 is, if you have language, only Hindi and English as the two options, do the rest of the Indian languages not matter? What is illegitimate in what Mr. Pandirajan is saying, or for that matter, what Mr. Ritabrata is saying? If you have got to be language neutral, then you need to be able to give the exams in local languages and give the interview also in local languages. Only then will you be truly language neutral. Till then, you won't be.
Another 10th standard English.
What?
Yeah,
Yes,
Arnab,
please.
can I reply?
Yes, please, Mr. Srivastav.
Arnab, can I reply?
Yes,
Yeah.
please, you go ahead, sir.
Language neutral examination in writing as well as through the interview is a myth. It cannot be achieved. Even I'm rightly saying, for the exam of the inspector or the custom officer or NDA, this has to be a must, because without this, the process will be regional specific. The person who is taking the examination and interviewing him and taking him for the particular post, this will become a complete bias on that because of the particular language. So that's not possible.
Sir, you admit-
it has to maintain a neutrality.
Sir, you admit, Mr. Trivedi, you messed up. I'm sorry to say this directly. You really messed up on this one, Mr. Trivedi. You really messed it all up.
Can I respond?
Because
think
you
your
wanted to
learned
compete with
panelists are
Mulayam, you messed
messing
it up.
Each and everything. The statement of minister was with reference to CSAT, with reference to aptitude test, not of the entire examination. In entire examination, you can allow any aspirant to have any language, you can have language proficiency test or other type of test. And I would like to ask a general question. In any entrance examination, what do you search for? The best talent, the best IQ and the intelligence.
Trivedi,
and then you can allow everybody to adopt. If somebody in the IAS takes the subject sociology, anthropology or history, it's not going to be basis for IAS. Like in engineering entrance exam, you just
Why are you dividing this country?
English and in all other languages.
Chemistry, math, how you have judged it? You
So why
just
are
have a medium to judge the talent and its intelligence.
Sir, I'm asking.
And if intelligence, as far as the impact of language should be minimum, what is wrong in that? It is only reference to aptitude test, not to the entire examination. This is the point which are messing up.
Sir, you have removed a 8-question, 22-mark section. You have made it a time pass section for serious civil aspirants. And Mr. Trivedi, you don't have one reply to my 2 questions. I have asked 2 questions. Question number 1, why don't you remove it from all exams? Have the courage. Have the courage to say, सारे एग्जाम से निकाल देंगे इंग्लिश को कह दीजिए आप
Mr. Arnab Goswami, this is not prerogative of the government. Government has just suggested it is the prerogative of the UPSC and the examination conducting body.
Please, these are political decisions. You're messing up with the lives of
students. I would like to quote one more thing. I would like to quote one more thing. Let me complete my sentence. When there was a compulsory English in the engineering entrance examination, it was removed in early 90s, and India became economic IT superpower in the late 90s and early 2000s. It hardly matters whether the student that came from which background. You have to tap the best.
You remove English. You remove English. You keep Hindi. The English paper in mains is a non-qualifying paper. The English section in the prelims is not graded.
English, keep
you have
Hindi.
effectively
This is highly objectionable sentence that you are saying. We have removed any language. We have not replaced one language by the other.
You have junked English.
This is a misconception which has been consistently harped upon this. This is wrong.
I am getting a lot of calls tonight, and the first caller is Clifford. Clifford is calling from Mumbai. Clifford, good evening. Let's go straight into the debate. Clifford, good evening. What do you think? And we are staying with the debate for a little longer. Yes, please, Clifford.
Yeah, Mr. Arnab, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
I'm nice talking to you. My question is, if the reason why India has progressed so much in our country, is because of English. And if we're going to scrap English, we are going to be moving backwards. And this is going to be the responsibility of this government for our backwardness.
Mr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, you hear that? I can take a lot of calls tonight, but people will also ask you whether it's a mere coincidence that there were no protests to the CSAT.
If somebody is saying that we have progressed because of English, it means they are not having confidence in India and Indianness. Prior to English came to India in 19th century, India's contribution to the global GDP as per the British government report was 22%.
Then tonight only make 2 commitments.
From Alexander the Great to Britishers.
Sir, make 2 commitments tonight.
This is the ridiculous logic that India has progressed because of English.
Sir,
this shows a bias.
Then make
should not have bias to any language.
1 second.
We are neither against English nor pro any
Ajay is
language.
responding. Ajay, please.
Yes,
then the next caller.
Ajay. English and India is the biggest contributor of the English literature and other English magazines in the world.
Sir, 1 minute. Sir, please understand, sir.
So first thing is, Arnab.
Yeah.
First thing is what Sudhanshu Trivedi is saying is ridiculous, to say that India can only progress. I mean, first of all, whether he's saying the regional languages, English is not needed.
Again, you are twisting. I am not saying India can only progress. Again, you are twisting the thing on as per you desire. This is not fair.
Sudhanshu, let me complete. First question is, the typical BJP double speak, when you want to get onto the Facebook and everything else, you use English, you say India shining and everything else, and then when political pressure comes, suddenly you're saying that it is an Hindi issue. The question is 10th class English, yeah? The entrance exam is asking for the CSAT is saying 10th class English. And the issue is not even English, it is to get rid of CSAT. And that is what is the danger. You don't want any competent guys for the most important positions in the country. You don't want quality, but you're saying no, rest of the exam it is okay because it is politically expedient. So let's not, camouflage our intention with goodness. Say it is a political solution because we couldn't take the pressure.
Absolutely,
camouflage
and it was clear because when the agitation
This
started,
is not the political
because when the
solution.
agitation, Mr. Trivedi,
It is political, yeah.
Mr. Trivedi,
Responsibility of the leadership of the country is take everybody together.
Mr.
Go by 2011
Mr.
census.
Trivedi.
How many people use English?
Mr. Trivedi.
Less than 1%.
Mr.
By
Trivedi.
your logic, you want to have a...
Mr. Trivedi, hear me. When the agitation started steam, you bought yourself time by saying you're waiting for the Verma committee report. Then when the Verma committee report came in, which according to our sources says keep the status quo, you bought time saying we are studying it. Today our government makes an announcement that goes 100% against the Verma committee report. If the findings of the report did not matter to you,
that's right,
and you had no intention to make it a political decision, why did you buy time?